Welcome back to the Jazz Pursuit. In this video, we're going to look at the classic standard All the Things You Are, written by Jerome in 1939. Before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date with new content and releases. Enjoy! So, first off, let's look at the key bits of information. All the Things You Are has been played many different ways over the years, but the original was written in 4/4 time and in the key of A flat major. The form is 36 bars long and is divided into an A, B, C, A1 structure. The A section, B section and C section are all 8 bars long. However, the A1 section lasts for 12 bars as it has a 4-bar tag. Now, let's get stuck into the harmony in the A section. The first interesting thing about All the Things You Are is that it doesn't start on chord 1. Instead, it starts on chord 6. Because All the Things You Are is in the key of A flat major, chord 6 is F minor 7. Then from here, we have a 2-5-1 cadence home to A flat major. Chord 2 is B flat minor 7, chord 5 is E flat 7, and chord 1 is A flat major 7. For a quick refresh on 2-5-1s and different chord types, check out the link above. So, we start on chord 6, F minor 7, and then have a 2-5-1 home, B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 to A flat major 7. Then from here, we move to chord 4, D flat major 7. And now here's the cool bit. From D flat major 7, we step up a semitone to D minor 7. This little trick works because D minor 7 shares the same 3rd and 7th as D flat major 7, F and C. So we slip up a semitone to D minor 7, and this becomes a 2 in another 2-5-1 cadence, only this time it's in half bars. If D minor 7 is the 2 chord, then G7 is the 5 chord, and C major 7 is the 1 chord. So that's the A section. Now let's hear the chords on the piano. I'll play the root and 7th of each chord in my left hand, and the 3rd and 5th of each chord in my right hand, with all the voicings in root position for now. Great! Now before we move on to the B section, let's quickly take a look at the melody of the A section. The melody of All the Things You Are is built almost exclusively using the thirds of each chord. So, with that in mind, the melody starts on an A flat, the 3rd of our F minor 7 chord. It then rises to a D flat, the 3rd in our B flat minor 7 chord, and then down to a G, the 3rd of our E flat 7 chord, before rising to a C, the 3rd of our A flat major 7 chord. The same pattern continues on the next line. We start on an F, the 3rd of our D flat major 7 chord, and then stay on this F for our D minor 7 chord, because the 3rd is the same, before rising up to a B, the 3rd of our G7 chord, and then ending by falling to an E, 3rd on our C major 7 chord. Obviously, the melody isn't just semibreves and minims, or whole notes and half notes, but it is the foundation. The best way I've found for internalising melodies is through listening to versions recorded by singers and learning the lyrics. This helps as you can attach each pitch to a syllable. Here's the A section with a more realistic rhythm. I've also put the lyrics under each note to help. Cool, so that's the A section done. Now let's have a look at the B section. The B section is almost a direct repeat of the A section, but in a different key, E flat major. Let's take a look at the harmony first. So, just like the A section, we begin on chord 6. In E flat major, this is C minor 7. The A section ended on C major 7, so we just have to tweak the 3rd and 7th to get to our new chord, C minor 7. Then we have a 2-5-1 home to chord 1, E flat major 7. Chord 2 is F minor 7, chord 5 is B flat 7, and chord 1 is E flat major 7. Then Just like the A section, we go to chord 4, A flat major 7, and then we step up a semitone to A minor 7, a chord that shares the same 3rd and 7th as A flat major 7, C and G. A minor 7 then becomes a 2 chord in a 2-5-1. A minor 7 is chord 2, D7 is chord 5, and G major 7 is chord 1. Here's how the B section chords sound on the piano. Again, I'll keep the root and 7th in my left hand and the 3rd and 5th in my right hand. Great! The melody for the B section is also built off the thirds of each chord, just like the A section. So let's take a closer look. The melody starts on E flat, the 3rd of our C minor 7 chord, and then rises to an A flat, the 3rd of the F minor 7 chord. It then falls to a D, the 3rd of our B flat 7 chord, before rising to a G, the 3rd of our E flat major 7 chord. Just like the A section, the next line begins the same way, on a C, the 3rd of our A flat major 7 chord. The melody then stays on the C for our A minor 7 chord, as it shares the same 3rd as A flat major, before rising to an F sharp, the 3rd on our D7 chord, ending by falling to a B, the 3rd of our G major 7 chord. Again, this is just the foundation of the melody, and it's embellished just like the A section. Here it is with the lyrics written underneath. We can see that the first 5 bars are identical rhythmically to the A section, and then there's a little tweak in bar 6. Rather than outline the 3rd on our D7 chord, we instead outline the flat 9. We start on the 3rd of our A minor 7 chord C, and then rise up to the flat 9 of our D7 chord E flat, and then walk back down, resolving to the B, the 3rd of our G major 7 chord. Now, let's hear the melody of the B section, with the root and 7th of each chord in my left hand and the melody in my right hand. Brilliant! That's half of the tune learnt. Before we move on, I want to share a different way of thinking about the A and B section. This is the cycle of fourths within a key. Let's take a look at the A section first. The A section is in A flat major, and here are the notes of the scale. Now, if I rearrange these notes by fourths, moving a fourth higher between each note, it would look like this. The next thing to do is to build each chord using the notes from the scale. So the 1, 3, 5 and 7 for A flat would be A flat, C, E flat and G. This is A flat major 7. Or if we started on a B flat, the root 3rd, 5th and 7th would be B flat, D flat, F and A flat. This is B flat minor 7. If we continue to do this for the rest of the notes, the chords would look like this. So here we can see Are All the Things You Are A section. F minor 7 to B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 to A flat major 7 to D flat major 7. Each chord simply moves a fourth higher within the cycle of fourths within the key of A flat. The same approach can be used for the B section, which is in E flat major. First off, here are the notes from the E flat major scale. And now here they are, rising a fourth between each note. Now, the next step is to build each chord using the notes from the scale. So like before, the root 3rd, 5th and 7th of E flat is E flat, G, B flat, D. This makes E flat major 7. Or the root 3rd, 5th and 7th starting on F would be F, A flat, C and E flat. This is F minor 7. Here's how the chords would look if we continued this process. Just like before, we can see the chord progression, and this time of the B section. C minor 7 to F minor 7 to B flat 7 to E flat major 7 to A flat major 7. So this system of the cycle of fourths within a key helps us to understand the harmonic movement in the A section and the B section a little better. Anyway, now let's get stuck into the harmony in the C section. Good news! The C section starts by copying the end of the B section with a 2-5-1 to G major. A minor 7 is chord 2, D7 is chord 5, and G major 7 is chord 1. And then we have another 2-5-1, a minor third lower. A minor third lower than G is E, so E major 7 is our 1 chord on our resolution point. However, the first half of our 2-5-1 is a minor 2-5. So this means our 2 chord is F sharp half diminished, and our 5 chord is B7 flat 9. This makes our resolution to E major 7 feel even more surprising, as we've set the listener up for a minor resolution. Here's how the chords for the C section sound. Cool! Now for the melody, and there's a theme in suspending the resolution to the thirds. The first phrase starts in the final bar of the B section, with the 5th, root and 5th of the G major 7 chord, D, G, D. Then the D is repeated on the A minor 7 chord, which is the 4th. This suspension then resolves down to the 3rd C. The next phrase then starts with a semitone rise from the flat 9 to the natural 9 on our D7 chord, E flat to E, before jumping up to the 4th of the G major 7 chord, C. Again, this suspension is resolved down to the 3rd B on the 1st beat of the G major 7 bar. Another cool little detail about that phrase is the semitone mirroring. It starts by rising a semitone from the E flat to the E, and then ends by falling a semitone from C to B. The next line starts with a rise through a G major triad, D, G, B, and then, like the last line, we sit on the B, the 4th of our F sharp half diminished chord, and then resolve down to the 3rd A. Then we have the same semitone mirroring as in the previous phrase, rising a semitone from the root to the flat 9 on our B7 chord, B to C, before jumping up to an A, the 4th of our E major 7 chord, which resolves by falling down a semitone to the 3rd G sharp. What a lot of information! So let's now hear the C section with the melody in my right hand and the root and 7th of each chord in my left hand. Great, so that leaves us with just the A1 section. Before we get into it, we first need to slip in a 5 chord to set up the A1 section. Like the beginning, it starts on F minor 7, so the 5 chord we put before this is C7 in the last bar of the C section. So, like before, we start on chord 6, F minor 7, and then have a 2-5-1 home to A flat, B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 to A flat major 7. And then we jump to chord 4, D flat major 7. Then from here, it's a little different, as we're ending the tune and trying to get back to A flat major 7, chord 1, rather than moving towards a new section, like the first A section. So, after chord 4, D flat major 7, we turn this chord minor to D flat minor 7. And then we have a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression, which takes us home to A flat major. Chord 3 is C minor 7, chord 6 is F7, chord 2 is B flat minor 7, chord 5 is E flat 7, which takes us home to chord 1, A flat major 7. The one essential tweak we have to do to our 3-6-2-5-1 is change our 6th chord to B diminished. This works for a number of reasons. Firstly, it gives us a nice chromatic bass movement, C to B flat. And secondly, it gives us nice voice leading in the 3rd and 7ths. We go from E flat and B flat on the C minor 7, to D and A flat on the B diminished, to D flat and A flat on the B flat minor 7. Cool, so let's hear those chords on the piano. All we're left with now is just the melody of the A1 section. The first 4 bars are identical to the first A section, and then when we reach bar 5, we sit on the third of the D flat major 7 chord F. On the D flat minor 7 chord, we then jump up to the 9th E flat. Again, this is another example of the device used in All of Me. The harmony underneath the melody is changing from major to minor, but the melody doesn't get involved and just floats over the top rather than explicitly outlining it. We then fall to the third of our C minor 7 chord E flat before rising to the 6th of our B diminished chord, G. Having the 6th on this B diminished gives us a really nice piano voicing. It's a diminished major 7 shape starting on an A flat, B, D and G. Anyway, the melody then ends by walking through the B flat minor chord tones from the 3rd D flat to the 5th F to the 7th A flat, before hitting the peak note of the melody, the 2nd F on the E flat 7 chord. The melody then ends with a semitone approach from below to the root A flat in the penultimate bar. Now let's hear how our final A1 section sounds. Great, that's the whole tune covered. And here's how it looks with the lyrics added for the C and A1 sections. Do check out our Patreon page where there are PDF handouts available for all our videos, plus polls to determine the content of future videos. Do like and subscribe below and leave any questions you may have in the comments section. Happy practicing!